starts to make sense why young men are no longer interested in women or dating because they see no prospects. Men are not only afraid of rejection, they are afraid of succeeding with the wrong woman. But it gets even more humiliating for the women. Dating in cities like New York has become so lopsided that some singles events have reportedly started charging women around $100 while letting men in for free just to balance the room. The Independent reported that some organizers now end up with rooms full of single women competing for the attention of only a handful of men, while others have resorted to asking male friends or even random men off the street to come in just to even out the ratio. So this is where female homosocial replacement starts to make sense. And
That's interesting. Single men are not attending single functions anymore. That is a glaring statistic in our society right now. And I just want to highlight the video I've got this from. It's from a channel called Lungs of Faith, and the name of the video is They Are the Problem. He said that women are being charged now to go to these events in some cities, and men are being allowed free entry just to get enough men in there. He also mentioned that in some cases they are pulling men off the streets to attend these singles functions. There's not enough men, or there aren't any men, and they need to even out the ratio so there's enough women to men at these single functions. Well, I want to go back and back in my history. So it's just a little snippet of a video today, but I want to go back into my history and tell you what used to happen when I'd go out in my early 20s and mid-20s with my male mates, and we used to go out to bars and clubs. And this was back in the 1990s, not really into the early 2000s, but more so the late 1990s era. And even into the early 2000s, this was happening with me. I'd go out with my single mates, and my single mates I was one of the short ones. The guys I used to go with, I was the shortest. They were fit. They were sports coaches. I won't give them away because they were, I don't want to give them away on the video, but they were coaches in a certain particular sport, a popular world sport. And they were fit and tall. Both of them were like 6 foot, 6'1". I'm there 5'7". I'm bald. I'm a little bit overweight at that time as well. I don't remember if I might have been wearing contacts or glasses on those nights. Not sure. But yeah, I mean, there's a glaring discrepancy in what I look like and what my mates look like. And we used to go out to bars and clubs on the streets. You'd walk past the venues. And there were no singles functions happening back then that I can remember, not at our age group anyway at that time. But I was in my early mid-20s, and even up to in some cases into my mid-late 20s at that stage. We'd go out to bars and clubs, and when we're on the street walking around looking for a place to go into, we'd often find these people, they're handing out flyers and brochures for the latest bar or club that's opened, or it may not have just opened, it might have already been open for a while, and they're getting not enough people in their doors, and they want more patrons in their doors. They would hand out bars and they would hand out flyers for the bars and clubs, and tell us to come in and hang on, I'm just going to turn the laptop on again. Bars and clubs, and so trying to get us to come in to make it look like they're getting numbers. It's funny that we were always in a group. So we used to walk around in the group on the street, my mates and me, and they were obviously better looking, taller than me. They had full heads of hair, fit, athletic, tall. I was the exact opposite of that. We used to walk around the streets and they'd hand out flyers and brochures, the people marketing for these venues. They would totally ignore me, or just make it as if I wasn't even there. To them, I wasn't even really there. They would only go up to my mates, like they could see we're in a group, or walking down the street in a line. They would only approach my mates. They're guys, both men and women, spruiking this. And they would basically hand them out to my mates, and they wouldn't hand me anything, basically trying to tell me, listen, mate, you're not attractive enough for our venue. We don't want you seen in our venue. We'd like your mates to come in, but we're not handing you a brochure or a flyer because you're not the type of look that we want in our bar or club. And this is how I knew that I was not a really good-looking guy in society all those years ago. when they're handing out flyers, marketing material to come in. They hire good-looking blokes and women to do this, good-looking young blokes and women to do this for them. And we'd go out in a group, and I'm walking down the street with my mates, and I'm just ignored. It's like I'm not even there. They hand the flyers out to my good-looking mates, and I don't even get one. I'm like just looking around, and they're talking to my mates, my good-looking mates, and I'm just ignored on the periphery. And they knew. They must have known, because we were walking in a group together down the street, talking to each other. So it's not like I wasn't part of their group or didn't look like part of the group. I just wasn't wanted in their venues. That's why they never handed those flyers, the marketing material, out to me. Now, it's interesting that this video says that they're trying to get men off the street for singles functions, because they're trying to even out the numbers, because there's very few or no men attending these functions. I think he mentioned New York and maybe some other cities in the United States. I wonder if they're handing out flyers, or wonder if they're trying to get less attractive, like short, bald, unattractive men into these singles functions as well. Are they that desperate to get men in there? Or are they just going after the good-looking men on the streets, trying to get them to come into the singles functions? I don't know. Look, my guess is they're probably going, from the experience I had when I was younger, not being a good-looking bloke and not being invited or given flyers about their venues. My guess is they're probably going after only good-looking men to enter these venues into the singles functions to even the numbers out. I mean, I could be wrong, but going off history and going off what I experienced when I was younger, that would be the bet I would have. I don't think they're trying to get every man into these venues. I think they're just trying to get eligible men, i.e. the better-looking, taller, good-looking, better, fit and just better-looking chads into their venues with the better faces and better bodies. They're not. I seriously doubt they're trying to pull unattractive men off the streets, sub fives off the streets, and get them in these venues to even up the numbers and get them to these events. It's even if they're going in, even if they're giving it away for free, I doubt they want to give it to sub fives for free. But that's just my personal experience from when I was younger and going out and experiencing this type of thing in life. So that's that. That'll be the end of this video. Stay tuned for another one.